welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter placement. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Aries, for today is the Seven of Wands. This is fire energy, very much so yours. If you look at the picture, there is like a father and son, and they're working together with packing these sandbags. They're aligning it along the shores of this water so that, if there's any tides in the water, which it feels like there might be a tide soon because, even though the water is calm, but there's a little bit of splash of water along the sandbag. So they're kind of preparing that, this water shouldn't just come into the neighborhood or should not cross the boundaries, of where it is. So they're kind of protecting their area, their neighborhood, the land, and it's a meaningful, a sensible protection because they sense that, this water might rise, there might be higher tides, and it's going to mess up the neighbor. Water would come and mess it up. So they're in advance, they're preparing for any kind of overwater, rising water, any kind of pressure from this water. So I feel that, Aries, you might be, kind of in a protective, preparatory mode. You might be defending your stance. You might be standing firm and solid on your principles. No matter how much the pressure is from your external environment, you might be experiencing some kind of stress or pressure from your external environment, and you're kind of protecting. Maybe you're in a flood zone, I hope not. Maybe the water, or maybe you're, in areas where you're expecting some kind of water, storm or water and things like that, and you might be seeing your city prepare for that as well. So it could be your external environment, your city, your town, your neighborhood preparing for that as well. So this is protection for things that matter, that make a difference. It's about consistent efforts. And these people are not shouting it out loud to a speaker or anything. They're just quietly building this wall. So it's consistent day in, day out, protecting things that matter to you, whether it's the home, whether it's building some kind of a boundary around your house or having some fire alarms or cameras installed around your house for protection. This could also be around your businesses, your stores. This could be city installing some cameras for protection. This could be countries installing some protective measures or boundary where you live. So if this is not your energy, it could be playing out around you as well. But this is about protecting the boundaries, This is fast forward action. This is leadership qualities. Now, with the current times, there is the sun, which is in Pisces right now. So Pisces is 12th house energy. It's water energy, mutable water. So there could be some kind of, maybe this is protection against the ocean as well. For some of you, like protecting the boundaries of the country, or maybe this is the city predicting some kind of walls or cemented walls around water bodies. But at the same time, protecting your plan. So you're thinking wisely, you have a plan. You have a plan of action. If this happens, what next? It's that kind of a vibe. So I feel that, with the moon being an Aries, also there is a little bit of a kind of defense or fight mode, which is getting activated with this, eclipse which is happening. A full moon in Virgo. But I feel that this is, a time, Aries, where you need to choose your battles really wisely. Like, you cannot fight everything, Nobody can. So you need to choose your battles really wisely at this point in time. Like, for example, I'm just giving you an example. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But if, like, you are at work and, you have a plan of action, or you're a leader and you have some kind of idea, project plan or something, and people are kind of questioning your vision, your ideas, like, oh, this is not going to work, maybe you need to think something else, maybe it needs to be better or something like that. And instead of getting heated or getting into a debate, kind of gather the facts and respond to those kind of questions with a cool, calm, collected mind. So don't kind of backlash at those people or don't get fiery or heated up. So that's the energy that you are being prepared for. And the good thing is that, the thing about this energy is that you need an advanced preparation. This is not an energy of spontaneous reaction. So you will have to document things, journal things out. You have to be strategic in your thinking and plan before something hits you or something questions you or something, or someone comes back at you. It's a preparation before the storm hits, because once the storm is hit, who's going to pack these bags and put it right? It's going to be of no use. So this is advanced preparation. So you might need to prepare in advance. Maybe this is about protect your assets, protect your, if you are coming up with some kind of a pattern or an idea, maybe patent it before you release it. Or if you have some intellectual, some documents or something like that, intellectual property, then protect that, put the logs there. Or maybe even the emails and all of that. Check your data, it's protected, and all of those things. Some of you might be in kind of, living in areas that's kind of guarding itself or protecting itself or creating some kind of protective boundaries, infrastructure, to protect the cities. And this can also be at a state level or country level as well. Now, I'm feeling that, some of you could be in flood areas where you might be expecting some storm, and you might be kind of buying protection or insurances against these floods. Or you're kind of, maybe you're kind of investing in places which, I feel that this is more like a protective, protection can be in the form of, a statement, maybe like you're protecting your funds, or you need a statement or some kind of document from the bank stating that your funds are protected. Or you could be investing in home insurances that protects you from flood or fire or things like that, something which is backed by insurance, something which is backed by a plan to restore that thing if something happens. If asset gets stolen, you have an insurance for that. Maybe you're having a store that you're buying insurances for, to protect your assets, your store, your property, something like that. So documentation of protection, in whichever shape or form, you could be working on that or buying those as well. Now, buying Samana phones is a little bit of standing your ground, protecting yourself from external pressure. So you might be seeing some competitive energy around you. People might be poking you to see if you react, or you can be triggered in some way, shape, or form. But I feel that you're standing strong. You have that inner strength and resilience as well, because I feel that this is a no drama energy. So you're going to be strong enough to not get pulled into drama or not to stir the pot yourself. So again, this is a period where you want to keep your calm, you want to keep your facts, you want to keep the documents, papers, everything ready, should something happen, you present it to the people, that you have everything documented. Now, some of you can be actually investing into some kind of infrastructure or working for companies that are investing or working on infrastructure projects. Maybe you're investing into some kind of infrastructure projects or buying land for creating some assets, but you want some kind of security for that land or for the asset or for the for the funds that you're investing. You want the bank to protect your assets or something like that. So yeah, stay focused. Whatever you're doing, you're going the right way. Don't be too loud about your dreams, your ideas. Attend them, document them, save them, protect them with a lock or something like password locks and things like that. Because I feel that whatever it is that you're working towards, 7 of Wands is like fighting competition and charging forward. Whatever you're building today, whatever you're charging forward towards is going to create something really monumentous for you tomorrow. It's an empire, creating an empire kind of an energy out here. I'm getting Hall of Fame also energy. So some of you could be heading towards that as well. So stay original. Write the documents that protect your ideas, your original ideas, your unique ideas, protect it. Some of you could be defending your ground in terms of that as well. A lot of intellectual property is also coming to the forefront here with this. So stay disciplined, stay protective of your assets, your ideas, and keep moving forward. The next card you have, Aries, is the jellyfish dream. So this is a very interesting energy for you. You know, you're the cardinal fire sign. And if you see here against the black backdrop, there is like these flowers that are floating. They're glowing in the dark, white color glow. They look like jellyfishes. They are not planted in the soil. They're like hanging from somewhere above. And if you see the stems, they're kind of soft, wiggly. They'll just sway with the wind, very flexible, very flowy. And especially when it comes to jellyfishes, jellyfishes are soft, wiggly. They just float around in water, They're not forceful. They don't force anything. They don't push agendas. They're just out there floating. And when it comes to jellyfishes, they're millions of years old. I think it's one of the oldest species, aquatic species. So they just adapt to it times, They're very flexible, very adaptable. And that's what I feel is your energy, which is very different from your Aries self, You're the cardinal fire, ruled by Mars, that's always charging forward. Here I feel that now it's time for you to glow, to shine your light. I feel that it's time for you to just be out there, to just go with the flow, It's a very calm, soothing, existing energy. Just flowing, very, very purposeful, very calm, very gentle. And I feel that exactly is your energy, or you will be in this energy where you're just unbothered. You're not pushing, even though you have a 7 of Wands out here. Very defensive, but at the same time, you're not reactive. Even the 7 of Wands, we saw the sandbags are lead before the storm. There's a preparatory energy. It's not that you're going to, it's not a confronting energy. It's not a reactive energy. It's a preparatory energy. So it's a preparatory energy, and this one is an observatory energy. So you are observing, you're in a very strategic mode. You're very confident, and this is like, you're not going to jump, you're not going to shout, you're not going to be aggressive. This is like being very cool, calm, collected. This is like being a diplomat, It's like responding in a gentle but strategic way. Some of you could be diplomats or working in high-profile positions where you need to be highly diplomatic and you need to do things behind the scenes, It's like in a quiet and gentle way without being loud about it. Some of you could be in that energy as well. Now, outside of that, if you're in a workplace leading teams, I also feel a very gentle energy, soft energy of leadership. Like, you are not being angry or mad at people. You're just like, I can tolerate this. I'm being very patient. You're very patient. And the patience will go a long way. This patience virtue, you're in a very patient energy, very flowy energy, which is unlike Aries. So you're completely out of your element. You may have made your water placements, but, either you have learned to tame your emotions, tame your anger, is what I'm picking up, and you're being very flexible, and this could be flexible in every, in every aspect. It could be at home, you're very flexible, you're not very rigid. At office or your workplace, you could be very flexible with your plans, with people around you. You're not rigid by any means, like it has to be done this way or that. You're kind of, okay, let's see what happens. Try this, let's see what happens, Some of you could be, I'm also hearing lamps, so you could be buying some tulip-shaped lamps that are blowing in your home for some of you. But in general, this is an energy of, building quietly, gently. Some of you could be actually starting businesses or creating brands that are unique to your industry. And, you could be building that slowly without the pump and show, without the marketing and things like that. So some of you could be quietly building on something, some niche products. You're not being loud about it. You're not making too much noise about it. And I feel that you might be studying the market. You might be working on slow sales and then going big. But right now you're working on slow sales, a small advertising by word of mouth. For some of you, that could be it. Some of you could be focused on properties that are saleable for Airbnbs. Like you don't want long-term rentals. You want to just short-term rentals. Flexible, rentals, like not locking it down for a year or 2 years. You want to maybe flexible times, like 3 months, 3 weeks, things like that. Some of you could be focused on that as well. Or you could be shifting up your Airbnb interest in those areas in that direction as well. I'm getting Moana White. Some of you could be next to coastal areas as well. You could be building properties, buying property next to waterfronts as well. Maybe water that has a lot of jellyfishes. But this is like, defensive, like standing your ground, having that restraint, whether it's restraint in how much time you invest in things. You could be practicing self-control, and people might be appreciating you for that, because self-control is very important in today's times, and you might be exercising that. So some people appreciate you for that as well. Now, some of you could be working in, of course, water-related industries is coming through really strong with the 7 of Wands being, there's water on that as well. And there's your jellyfish energy. So some of you could really be working in, maybe tapping into jellyfish, tying jellyfishes, or mining water aquatics and things like that, something to do with water. Or you could be working in flower industries, flowers that glow in the dark. This is also an energy of, I just get that you're, you're just working behind the scenes. You're rising up, you're leveling up, but you're not being loud about it, some kind of a stealth mode. I don't know if you're some kind of, working in stealth mode. Maybe you're cops or some kind of defense people that are working in stealth mode. But it's a very strong energy, but at the same time, very flexible as well. You're like going with the flow and glowing at the same time. You're going with the flow and glowing up at the same time. So I don't know what's going on with you, Aries, but it's a positive energy of, just shining your light and not being aggressive about it. So tell me what you're doing. I don't know what exactly is going on with you, but a good positive energy. And the last card for today, Aries, you have is the bright ideas. And look at this beautiful bulb glowing. Yeah, again, a glow energy, colorful energy, rainbows. You might be working with a lot of colors. Here it says, have an innovative new inspiration, test new ideas and break out fast. Take action on your ideas. So bright ideas that are going to shine, there is, look at this, gentle colors out here. So some of you might be using some kind of colors in your house. Some lamps might be glowing. You might be using these multicolored lamps for decor as well. For some of you, this is just like, this non-bright yellow light, even though the jellyfish tree had a bright glow. So some of you are just, experiencing some kind of glow up, or this is like newer ideas out here. It says, you're creating something new and you are kind of maybe breaking out fast, maybe you're branching out, or maybe you were about to launch in a big way, but you're working in silence right now. And whatever ideas you have, this is a green light from the universe that your ideas are bright and take action, whatever you're doing. Don't just sit there and I feel you're not sitting there. You're already working on your ideas. So, Aries, those were your messages. Hope you enjoyed them. And now moving on to the sign of Leo. So the first card you have, Leos, is the 3 of Swords, and it's in the reverse for you. So Swords is the air suit, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It's in the reverse, which is a good thing. It means that, the pain is leaving. Any kind of pain, whether it's a physical hurt, mental, emotional, spiritual, any kind of hurt that you have been feeling or pain that you have been feeling is now leaving. So it's a time of healing. It's a time of recovering. If it's an ailment, you're recovering, feeling better. There's owls in the picture. Owls are owls and crows. There are two owls and there is one crow. Now, crow is higher thinking. It's like big picture thinking. It's also, air energy is about our, ideas, thoughts, communication, business. Um, it's also about understanding things, laying out the processes. It's also the wind energy that cures out that just cures out the stagnancy. Um, and with the owls, it's more about wisdom, the wisdom that has been accrued, that things that have been learned, the clarity that has been gained through this painful experience. So I feel that, this hurt, this pain now becomes wisdom to you. I also feel that, with the sun in Pisces, there is a lot of, reflective energy out here. Like, looking at things from a more connected perspective. And at the same time, a detached perspective as well, in the sense that it's an emotional perspective, but then you are detaching your ego from it. So when you detach the ego, or not specifically you, when anybody detaches the ego from a certain situation, we understand the big picture, and that's why the crow is out here. So we understand like what exactly happened, and when we understand, we recover, we start to feel better, we get, we feel more confidence in our abilities to, process things, to bounce back, to heal. And if you see here, there is, the sun is rising, which means the days are born. But if you look at the owls are most active at night in the darker times, and I feel that this is the wisdom, the thought, the clarity that we get when we spend some time with ourselves, especially in the nighttime when there is less activity, when we're by ourselves, because in the day, everyone's just doing things. When we sit down at night and we retrospect, we learn a lot of things. There's a lot of clarity and wisdom that is gained through spending time with ourselves in the less busy hours and the quieter moments. Now, if this is not your energy, this could be the energy around you, because, where there's reconciliation, especially whether it's around your friends, family, neighborhood, city, state, countries, might be hearing about a lot of people coming together. This can also be about, shifting perspectives. So people might, come up with newer ideas or strategies because they have an aha moment. They realize something. So there's a lot of renewal, reconciliation, renegotiation energy as well. Renegotiating terms, conditions, deals, maybe things like, for example, if you are buying a home and you see, that there's a lot of issues out there in the house, especially the inspector comes and, there's a lot of inspection issues in the house. So now people will kind of renegotiate, like, okay, there's inspection, there's a lot of problems with the house. Do we still want to buy or not? Can we negotiate the deals? Because we will have to fix it later on. Can we get a better deal firsthand, some discounts or something like that, instead of completely rejecting the property and walking away. So there's a lot of, renegotiation, kind of energy, whether it's redoing, renewal, repairs, renegotiation, restoration. You might be fixing older things. You might be doing DIYs and restoring old things back, especially decorative pieces, property, furniture, and things like that. For some of you, you might be renewing things, whether it's vows, whether it's leases, um, leases for yourself or leases for your own tenants if you are a landlord. So a lot of repair, renewal energy out here. I'm getting Lion King. With you, I always get the Lion King. But at the same time, I'm also picking up the circle of life. It's like coming full circle. I don't know how that applies to you, but circle of life definitely comes to mind. Maybe it's a cycle. Um, I don't know if it's a repeat cycle. Maybe it's a repeat cycle for you. This situation could be a repeat cycle. But, the thing about this cycles is that it becomes harder every time we miss out on the lesson. And maybe that's why the Three of Swords, because first time it hurts, but then second time it hurts more because, you're telling the universe that you have not learned your lesson. So it becomes harder it becomes harder every next time. So when you repeat it, it becomes harder. The lesson becomes more difficult, more painful. But with the sword energy, which means there is communication that can help you ease the pain. It's like when there are miscommunication, misunderstanding, delusions and all of that can all be repaired and fixed, renewed with good, honest communication, because communication dissolves it, all the stagnancy. So I feel that this is a good time to communicate, to heal yourself. You are already in the process of recovery. So pay attention to your body, whatever floats, whatever works for you in terms of healing, whether it's physical healing therapies, physical therapies, all of that can benefit you at this point in time, even yoga, medication, and all of that. I also feel that, there is some kind of an ego dissolution also that I'm picking up for you. Like, you're feeling more calmer. You're feeling less prideful because this is an energy of masking the pain with the pride. Like, you're hurting, but you're like, no, you won't let it show. You won't speak it out. You won't say it out. You won't let people know that, it's bothering you. But then here is an energy that gives you more calm, less pride. It's an ego dissolution moment, I feel. So this is like a graduation emotionally. And yes, it's not easy to do with this energy. But, Leos, you are strong-hearted. You are the Lion Kings, strong-hearted. And of course, the sun is rising out here right behind. So you're ruled by the sun, So things are changing, shifting for the better. You will feel better. You will feel more energetic, more recovered. If this is an illness, then, you're feeling better. Even your health is coming back, getting restored. So overall, I would say it's a good energy. In the next 1 week, you'll feel much better physically and holistically. The next card you have here is the Bear Paw Succulent. Yeah, look at this beautiful orange glowing flower out here. It's really beautiful. It's a glow. See, in the dark night, it's glowing. And it's a succulent. So we all know about succulents, how powerful they are. I always call succulents as the power-saving mode for plants, because they're powerful. They can survive in the harshest of the conditions. So it's like they have this quiet strength, right? Which we know after we actually look at succulents, they don't need much water. They don't need anything. They survive in the harshest of conditions. So I feel that's your energy out here. You might be, and if you look at the leaves out here, the leaves have like the power or shaped, and that's why the name of it, the bear paw. Yeah, the leaves actually look like the bear paws. It looks pretty on the outside, but inside it has water, Water is our emotions, you can, symbolize it as the heart. So, protection of your inner core. So just having the strength to protect yourself, to protect your hard to protect your plans and just the kind of on a power saving mode. I feel it's a little bit of a power saving mode. Not showy, very earthy, and it's also a very grounded energy. It's not flashy. It's very grounded energy. Um, yeah, I'm getting the energy of power contained power. Yeah, so contained power is what I'm picking up on. So it's an energy of staying resilient, of staying consistent, of being able to create something with with whatever resources you have. Being able to bloom even with the smallest of the resources that you have. Now, for some of you, this might be creating some kind of a business or a side gig that you're partly building, you're working on, and you've not yet announced it or to the world. You've not marketed it as yet. Or this is actually advising you to stay low-key. If you're working on some kind of plan, stay low-key on that. Don't announce your plans too early. So this is like smart work, not the flashy kind of work before you do anything or sign the deals. Don't go announce that I'm working with this, that, and these vendors and all of that. Don't announce your plans. Also, succulents go the distance, So again, long term is the idea over here. The undercurrent is stability, being able to survive with the smallest of resources, being sustainable, consistency. I'm also picking long term, so thinking more long term, whether it's your business, your project, your investments. You're not like, day trading. You're not going to be day trading with this energy because this is more about buying a property for the long term, renting out for the long term, buying the land for the long term, not fast flip ups. For some of you, you could be strength training as well because this is a very powerful, strong energy, of succulents. They're very strong. So some of you could be building on your strength, your core strength. You might be doing training, gyms, endurance training, or it could be into sports or athletics. You might be training up for that. Very Black Panther kind of vibes. So I don't know how that fits into your scenario. Better it's going to be different for each one of you. But Black Panther is something I'm picking up on. But yeah, this is a good energy of being happy. There is a kind of, being consistent with what you do and doing things in a sustainable way so that, you can grow, you can stretch that money. You can go the long way with the resources. Being very conservative in your plans, having structures and conservative growth, not fast fly-by-night growth. Even if you're buying assets or you're buying properties or you're investing into shares and stocks and bonds and mutual indexes and all of that, it's got to be, in a conservative way for the long term. That will work better for you, at least in the next few days. So I do feel that you are, this is an energy of feeling confident, but in a gentle way, not in a prideful way. And at the same time, you're happy with the resources you have. So you're patient here. Yeah, and you're kind of in a power-saving energy. You're conserving your resources, whether it's your time, your energy, you're investing it into the right places, whether it's your money, your time, whatever that is, you're investing into the right places is what I pick up on. And the last card for today, Leo, you have is the message from Cosmos, and it says power. Here you go. Your throne is here. You have the power to take control of your life, career, and finances. Focus on your needs. That's exactly an extension of the bear paw succulents, It's that strength, that power to take control of your life. Yeah. I mean, you might have small resources. You might have little, but you can make the most of it, even with your career. If you don't have the right team, maybe you have one person, you need three. Maybe you need more funds, you have little, but you can still make do with it. You can still, create a lot with whatever you have. In case you're wondering that you're not able to go forward with or feeling limited with your resources, that should not hold you back with this energy. Even with your finances, take control of it. See your investment. See how you can invest the money and make it grow, make it more stable, going forward. Focus on your needs. That's what the succulents do. They store a lot of water, but they use it wisely. So invest your time and energy onto yourself. What you need. Focus on that, and you have the power to steer clear of distractions, to organize your life and take control of, your own energy, your own life. So Leos, those were your messages. Hope you enjoyed that. Now moving on to the sign of Sagittarius. So the first card you have, Sagittarius, is the King of Wands. Very much your energy out here. Wands is the fire suit. And here this king is sitting on a throne, yes, and there's a dog which is sitting right beside the king. This is loyalty, this is trust, this is friendship, this is long-term support. Now, this king also has a wand or a staff. You can say it's a staff actually in the hand. When it comes to staff, it means that this king is, creating things. Destinies at play in some way. Out your destinies at play. Very intuitive energy. This king is meant to create what, the cosmos wanted him to create. If you see the people, there are workers in the background on the farm. So they're at work creating something. This king probably has a plan for creating something on this land. He has a vision for it, and he has taken the action because he's put people out there to dig up the land and create something. So a very, direct kind of directing people. You might be team leader, boss in some way, maybe in your company, maybe have a business of your own. So a very, there's conscious in the background. So this could have some, this is like conscious, I feel, is the energy of like the, the holiday season. I get a holiday season energy. So this might have been work that started in November or December during the holidays. If you see the leaves of the poinsettias, they're kind of reminding of stars, starship. So there is, star is like hope, there's recovery, there's new beginnings. There is the color red. Red is heart, the color of love. And the color of passion, forward movement, action. This is also a very historical, poinsettias is related to, has a historical significance as well, a very cultural significance as well, because from hundreds of years they have been used for the holidays, so it's long-term energy, it's structure, it's heritage, its historical significance as well. So some of you might still be having poinsettias in your homes. But in general, holiday spirit is all about connections, community spirit, joy, giving, sharing, connections, relaxing, of caring things, of retrospection, reflecting on how, the year went by, what we did, what went right, what went wrong, and all of that. So there's a kind of a gentle energy to this king as well. And the king is smiling, It's not a rude king. It's a very smiling, happy king. So I do feel that here, Sagittarius, you are probably in a leadership role and you're growing. There is expansion and growth with whatever you're doing, with whichever company you're leading or your own ideas. You might be leading your own businesses, having your own businesses. You might be having a team, you might be doing the planning and direction and all of that, and people are actually helping you create the, manifest your dreams or create the vision, the plan that you have, put it into action, create reality. yeah, so I do feel that you're kind of planning, organizing, gathering resources, leading teams, managing resources, but in a very gentle, happy kind of, warm kind of energy. So it's a very controlled leadership. It's not a very abrasive leadership. It's a gentle um, leadership. So I feel you're in that energy. And I feel that, the energy that I pick up from this king is like, you got everybody's back. Like if something goes wrong, you're like, okay, that's okay. We'll learn something from it. It's that kind of energy I'm picking up. It's like, yeah, you got this. It's okay. We can do it. If not this time, another time. It's okay. So you are invested into your people. You're not like a give up kind of, oh, these resources, use us some, they go. No, you're like, okay, it didn't work out. Let's do some more. Let's learn some more. Let's train. Let's find solutions. And let's move forward. It's that kind of a vibe. I'm also getting an energy of remember the name. So I don't know. Is this like, remember the name? So maybe you're meeting somebody. Maybe in the past, there was some kind of a situation that you had to go your own way or prove something, and now you're here leading. So it could be that kind of a vibe as well. But yeah, you're in a very positive energy. You're leading, you're calling the shots. You're kind of a decision maker here. Um, so you might be up in the offices and corporate, in the management and all of that. And I feel that you have the strength, you have the courage, you have the vision, you have the skills, you have the resources, and you're able to pull your resources, align them in the right way to create what you want. Whether it's, for the corporate, in your personal life, even in your finances, your investments, everything, you're able to, visualize what exactly you want, how to invest the money you got. But I feel that this is also very protective energy. It's like I got this. It's a very protective energy. And the dog out here, there is loyalty, there is horseshoe, it's power, it's horsepower, it's it's like, but by no means you're not a bossy boss out here. So I like this leadership style of this King of Wands here. So I don't feel that, you're growing, you're on the right path, you're expanding, you're creating and manifesting. The next card to Sagittarius is the Combe. Further down it says, your light expands without struggle. So I feel that, first thing is that if you, just go with the flow, because over here there is like the flowers, the blossoms, the Combe. They look like jellyfish, and even Aries had the jellyfish energy to them. So some of you might have Aries placements as well. But if you look at the picture, there's these red roots that this flower has, right? And it's floating, it's not in the soil. So it's not stuck in one place, it's just floating around. And because it has grown such long roots, there is growth, there is expansion. But it's not tethered to anything. It's like just floating around. So there is like the growth and expansion. There is a trust that, this flower, trust that it's been taken care of. The resources are there for it to bloom, for it to grow, for it to expand. So there is an element of faith out here. A 9,000 energy for you, Sagittarius, connected with Jupiter. It's, growth, spirituality, philosophy, faith. That's the house of faith. So you are trusting in the universe, the process, you have that faith that things are working for you behind the scenes. But again, this is not an energy of rushing. You got the King of Wands, and King of Wands is also for you the deck. The picture on the card is not very aggressive. It's not a rushing kind of an energy. If you remember the land behind, the window, the land that can be seen through the window, the people are not in a rush. They're standing there, they're digging they're creating something in the land. But it's not a rush, move forward kind of an energy. It's like, yeah, we're moving forward. We have a vision. We have the faith, we have the hope, optimistic vibes that things are going to progress. and you're doing things that are effortless. So you're not pushing against the tide. And I feel that is the energy right now, that if you are going to push, if you're going to force things, it's not going to work. It's going to be a waste of your time and energy. So just go with the flow. And I feel that you're doing that. You're not resisting the changes. You're not impulsive in your behavior. You're just going with the flow. You're planning things. You're pieced out in your energy. You might be feeling like, yeah, you have a lot of energy to create, a lot of time and energy, the willpower, the strength, the courage to create with the King of Wands. But you're also very intuitive. Fire energy is very intuitive. And jellyfish, there's water element out here. Jellyfish energy. So you're very intuitive at this point in time. So you're feeling the things, you're following your intuition. And I also feel that, you're doing it on the down low, like you're keeping it low key. You might be connecting with people, you're growing, expanding, whether in your business, in your career, in your social network, you might be expanding, growing, but you're not flashy or loud about it. You're keeping it on the down low. And I also feel that you're not pushing, you don't have rigidity. You're very flexible with your approach. So flexibility in your plans, in your, you're working with companies that are flexible. It could be that you're very flexible with your ideologies, with your day-to-day routines. I'm also getting like a very flowing kind of, energy. Like you just go with the flow. You don't have a rigid structure or anything. And I feel that it's not a flashy energy. It's the low-key working behind the scenes. You're expanding, you're growing, you're building. You might be training. I'm also getting a lot of, endurance training for athletes. I'm also picking up Life of Pi, the Full of Stars, Life of Pi. To see that movie if you haven't already. But there's a lot of boldness, because you trust that, your plans, the universe has got plans for you. And you're just executing the destiny's kind of energy, So you're leading and people are seeing your bold moves, your potential for management, for leadership. For some of you, this could be you're expanding globally. You could be traveling. A Ninth energy is a lot of travel. You could be investing in travel in different places, learning about different places. Could be philosophy. You could be reading a lot about that. You could be educating yourself, upskilling, and all of that. Because Jupiter definitely rules the growth and expansion. So you are in that energy, reading, growing, learning, traveling. You learn a lot to travel as well. You could be establishing businesses in different lands, connecting with foreign, international investors, people. But in a general calm way. You're not a reactor right now. You have the calm confidence. We already saw that with the King of Wands. Very calm, very confident. Very planned, very meticulous, very strategic in the most, strategic in the sense, not in a wicked way, but just knowing where to invest the time and energy. If you're getting a pushback, you're not even trying. So that's a good thing about this energy. And the last card for today, Sagittarius, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, wrong decision, reckless behavior can lead to bad consequences. Think before you act. I don't think, you have the King of Wands energy. You have the flowy energy. Reckless. So, it may be that you have to make decisions at some point in the next few days or weeks. So just like, I feel this is just a word of caution. Think before you act, because it's the fire energy we're talking about. Control fire is always growth, progressive, but chaotic fire all over the place, scattered, kind of creates a chaos and destruction. So you might have to select, you might have to make decisions. There are two paths out here that are shown in the picture. So it could be that you have to make a decision, select a path. So think things through, weigh out the pros or cons, the consequences, think long term. Think what could go wrong, try different scenarios, look at 360-degree view, higher perspectives. King of Wands always thinks of the higher perspective. Meditate. The King of Wands also has a staff which is connected to the cosmos. So getting directives, faith, downloads, ideas, connecting with the divine, meditating and seeing. if you're doing the right thing or not. So in short, it's asking you not to be impulsive because of the King of Wands energy sometimes can get impulsive. Fire energy sometimes, can get impulsive, but that's what this is, just a word of caution that don't get impulsive, don't get reckless. Think before you act. And don't let your emotions get the better of you. Have a plan, write it down, journal it, collect your thoughts, and then see or do things. Okay? So Sagittarius, those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.